GTA 5 is one of the biggest video games of all time, with it seemingly on every platform ever made. But even people who have played the game for days on end, seriously, I've lost whole weekends to the game, living off Mountain Dew and old pizza. I'm not sure how I am still alive. But there are a ton of things you might have missed. From hidden movie references, secret game features, Easter eggs to other Rockstar games, and even some supernatural elements. These are 15 things you missed in GTA 5. When it comes to awesome and memorable cars, GTA 5 has its fair share of great vehicles for you to cruise down the streets of Los Santos, or more likely, mow down innocent bystanders. But if you're a Bond fan like me, there is one car that sticks out more than the rest, and that is the one modeled after Bond's classic and just drop-dead gorgeous Aston Martin DB5, which debuted in Goldfinger. The car becomes available to purchase after completing the Deep Inside mission, but just like a real DB5, it will cost you a pretty penny, setting you back $475,000. But I mean, look at it. Unfortunately though, it doesn't come with all the Bond gadgets and gizmos. Still pretty cool. But Goldfinger isn't the only movie reference to be hidden into the game. If you're a fan of the Coen Brothers' No Country for Old Men, you'll be happy to know there is a recreation of one of the movie's scenes in the game. If you take a walk in Mount Chiliad State Wilderness Park, you may just randomly stumble upon a handful of abandoned cars, which are the remains of a lethal gunfight, just like the one Ewan stumbles upon in the movie. Also like the movie is a hidden stash of cash at a cool $25,000. However, this is actually a random encounter, and it means you won't necessarily stumble onto it every time. Speaking of Mount Chiliad, there is also a secret face etched into the mountain, although the person's identity is kinda unclear. There's a legend that Bigfoot had secretly been in the GTA series, and this became reality in GTA 5, with him even going toe-to-toe with none other than Teen Wolf. To get to this point, you must find up to 7 golden peyotes and take them at very specific times with very perfect weather. If you do this, you will follow a trail that will lead you to an airplane graveyard where you will take on Teen Wolf as Bigfoot himself. Even better, if you manage to defeat Teen Wolf in the brawl, you can unlock the werewolf for use in the game's director mode. Another strange mythical character you can see is the legendary Goatman, a humanoid with goat legs and horns who roams the area of the Catfish View Bridge. If you're a fan of true crime docuseries and podcasts and have always wanted to investigate your very own crime like the Thursday Murder Club, you can in GTA 5. That's because the serial murderer, the Infinity Killer, is skulking around the streets of Los Santos, and you can unravel the case. The Infinity Killer, who is Merle Abrahams, killed 8 people and left them to a grisly fate. But if you follow a breadcrumb trail of cryptic nursery rhymes that gives clues to the next piece of the puzzle, you will eventually find the bodies wrapped in plastic on the seabed, scattered around a small group of islands in Paleto Bay. But that's not the only murder case you can solve in the game, and if you explore an abandoned mine, you will be able to close the case of another one. It's actually its own mission, named rather aptly the Murder Mystery. But due to the amount of requirements you need to play it, a lot of players have just actually missed out on the mission. As you won't get notified for the mission, you'll have to find 4 cryptic messages in Los Santos that clue you into a murder of someone connected to the film industry. Without giving too many spoilers away, if you follow the clues, you'll end up at the abandoned mine, where the case will draw to a close. Now, depending on how you look at the next reference, the secret snowman in the game can either also be a murder reference and Joe Nesbo's snowman, or more likely a reference to the classic holiday snowman, Frosty. To find this reference, you will have to go searching in the area of La Mesa, where you will find the snowman peeking out of a cold storage facility. Just like GTA, another iconic video game franchise is the Halo series, and there aren't many more famous video game characters than the Master Chief. So is it too much of a surprise to learn that Master Chief appears in GTA? Well, sort of. More like a knockoff version, just like the DB5. If you head out to Vineland and take a look at some of the local theaters, you will find a guy in Spartan armor, albeit poor quality, low budget Spartan armor, which of course course, is a reference to Master Chief. Bigfoot isn't the only supernatural character to appear in the game, as just like Tom DeLonge has been telling us for years, aliens are among us, and you can have your own close encounter in GTA. Once the game has been fully completed, you can start hunting UFOs with a number of different types of alien spacecraft showing up. Some of them even have FIB markings on the side. However, unfortunately, these UFOs aren't susceptible to damage, and you're also unable to drive them yourself. But still, if you want to hang out with some extraterrestrials, you know what to do. You can also find a frozen alien in the prologue mission in North Yankton. Like No Country for Old Men, the game recreates another iconic movie, emulating the famous end scene from Thelma and Louise. If you're in the Sandy Shores airfield area around 7 p.m., game time of course, not real life, that would be weird, you'll see two women in a convertible being chased by cops, with some guitars and sombreros in the back, just like the movie. Instead of surrendering, the women drive off the cliff, although while in the movie they freeze frame, in the game they plummet to their presumably very painful death. As the game is set in the same location as the ever-popular GTA San Andreas, you can actually take a trip to Grove Street and see 3 NPCs riding bikes who just so happen to resemble CJ, Big Smoke, and Sweet from that game. You can also make GTA 4 fan favorite character Packy McCreary part of your team, although you have to be careful you don't kill him by accident. Also, local wardrobe choices mean you can also dress up like Max Payne and Pigsy from Manhunt. If you have ever been traveling around Paleto Bay on GTA Online, you may have found as soon as you enter the area, you're teleported backwards without your vehicles, with certain things going missing from your inventory as well. That's because it's based on the Bermuda Triangle, a place fabled for ships and planes disappearing off of the face of the earth. Alright, so there's already aliens, Bigfoot, and Goatmen in the game, so is it any surprise that there might be some ghosts too? Well, if you head to Mount Gordo at around 11 p.m., you may find yourself face to face with the paranormal, with the place haunted by a ghost. The ghost, whose name is Jolene Cranley Evans, has a fully fledged backstory that's open for you to learn. Again, there are already enough supernatural creatures running around in this game, but Rockstar wanted to add another one, throwing a zombie into the mix. Well, sort of. If you are traveling around the streets of Vinewood, you may find a pretty strange NPC who looks just like the undead, and with there being so much weirdness in the game, it's understandable to think the guy is actually a zombie. However, if you hang around long enough, he breaks character, suggesting, I don't know, he's an actor rehearsing for the part. Maybe it's Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare. If you swim around under the sea, you will likely stumble across a number of awesome things, such as underwater hatches and buried treasures, but one of the most interesting things to find are the bones of some long-lost sea creature. The bones are found on the eastern edge of the map, although it is unclear what monster they belong to. Some speculate Nessie, some a megalodon, and others even Moby Dick, although for now, it remains a mystery. This last entry isn't really important, but still kind of funny. But if you want to liven up the cutscenes, you can just do that by taking some selfies while doing so. It really doesn't add to the story, but if you want to get a new perspective, make sure to pull out your phone and take a few snaps of yourself. And finally, GTA 4's Niko Bellic is arguably one of the best Rockstar protagonists of all time, and GTA 5 reveals the Serbian's fate. Despite Packy fearing he is dead, according to Niko's Life Invader page, he and his cousin Roman are thankfully both very much alive and well.